Hello, everybody. Probably not a very long video, but I've seen a couple different things about this recently. I don't really have any particular news articles prepared, but I'm just going to summarize some of the stuff that I've been seeing. So, as you all know, Israel has pledged to launch a massive counterattack against Iran. And the problem is we don't really know what form it's going to take and where it's going to head. I'm not sure if anyone has seen this yet, but from my understanding, the United States government has said to Israel, we will give you like $10 billion if you don't attack Iran's nuclear facilities. I'm not sure if anyone else has seen that, but I have seen that they're basically trying to bribe Israel at this point in time. Understanding the I saw States. One guy was calling it a form of coercion, that they're trying to coerce Israel by giving them money to not do this, which is only they would really kind of come up with something like that. I have also that is one aspect to it. Now, something I haven't really seen anybody discuss, and I if someone once again can add in if I'm if they know the answer to this question, but what if Israel hits Iran's nuclear program, is that not going to cause fallout? Is that not going to cause like a lot of environmental damage and cancer? I mean, I know they don't care about the Iranian people, despite what Netanyahu might say. But yeah, what's this? Storm the courtyards of Iliada Mosque. But like, is the contention just that the international community doesn't care that there could be a potential environmental disaster? I guess probably not. As I've said, I don't know if there's really anything Israel could do that would significantly impact American support for it at this point in time. So, another thing I've started to see is, and I'm always very skeptical about these because so many reports of different stuff comes out throughout wars. Like sometimes during like you'll always get reports of atrocities. I am seeing more and more stuff about Israeli death squads, or like Israeli death squads or Israeli snipers are deliberately killing people. I was just watching Daniel Davis had Alexander Bakiris on, and he was talking about how Western medical professionals are saying that they're seeing a lot of Palestinian children who are like appear to be summarily executed. Like they have very like close range head wounds. I have also heard about death squads, and I don't know if anyone's seen like the compilation of the Israeli soldiers like posting pictures of them like blowing stuff up on Instagram. This website is Israel Palestine Live UA. I just have it open. Like I said, I didn't pull a bunch of stuff together for this. Now, the other thing, and I was talking to Serp about this the other day, is they're deliberately giving the Palestinians about, I think, 1,500 calories per person, which is obviously not enough, particularly for an adult male, but it's enough to kind of stretch on starvation for a prolonged period of time. So, what I'm starting to wonder is maybe, okay, so maybe the goal is to a certain extent just sadism. Like they just hate Arabs, they just want them to suffer, they just want to torture and kill them. But I do think still the entire point of this whole thing is to try to trigger a regional war. And well, a lot of these atrocities and stuff they're doing, I think, does come from just pure sadism. I don't like saying that because I don't like. I try to find a rational motivation for a lot of things, but I just don't really think there is one in this case. But let's see here. Uh, a irrational. It's. I think it is to try to provoke everybody around them. Interestingly, I do kind of, and this is sorry, a slight side note. I do wonder if each the governments in some of the Arab countries that remain pro-Israel will collapse, like Jordan and Egypt and Saudi Arabia. I they've consistently like not really done anything, and they've maintained neutral or like semi-pro Israel. I just don't know how the governments are going to survive this when their brothers and sisters. I mean, keep in mind, Jordan is Palestinian majority, and Israel is pulling this shit. They're like starving them to death. You have death squads and stuff like that, and um, they're just basically doing nothing because now, the rational part of this is, once again, it's to try to trigger a wider war. So the more they do stuff like that, the more they starve people and level Gaza, and I think Netanyahu has declared that the West Bank is a front in the war. So the war has been Jordan kicked the Palestinians out of Jordan in the 1970s. I think they kicked some of them out. I think the population though is still, think it's still majority Palestinian. Um, or is it just not? Um, is it just not explained anymore? Is it not differentiated? Palestinians in Jordan. Population. I could be wrong. I thought it was a majority of Jordan's population. Maybe I'm just completely. I remember hearing that somewhere. Um. So, or does Jordan just have like? Does nobody live in Jordan? What's its population? No, it's 10 million people. Estimated the Palestinian community is one half to two thirds. So that's according to the CIA, World Directory of Minorities and Indigenous People. Um, yeah, okay, so it's not okay. So it's a mixture. I'm not completely crazy to think that. Um, Probably enough ambitious and officers to see power. The problem is the offensive scorched earth tactic is the fact that almost every so my what I have heard, and I'm not sure people have said, is they're reinvading the Gaza Strip. Yeah, you can see it here. I think they deployed a couple divisions and they've reinvaded and they've started to drive people into evacuation zones. But it's been what, like it's been over a year now, and I don't think they're any closer to doing anything, like to actually beating Hamas. Like, is there any indication they've significantly harmed Hamas? Like, they assassinated the leader, they leveled the Gaza Strip multiple times. From what I've heard, though, Hamas just rebuilds in whatever areas they leave. And all they've really succeeded in doing is just 100% uniting the population of the Gaza Strip behind Hamas. Um, Once again, if Israel wanted to play this right, they could have just kvetched and cried and said and just played the victim after the Hamas attack. I was doubtful at the time, but I think it's almost certain that Israel was involved with the uh with the Hamas attack. So, like, okay, so here's what we're supposed to buy. Okay, so we're supposed to buy that Israel set up this, the Mossad set up this like 40 chess plan that took a decade, where they set up like fake electronics companies in like Taiwan and Hungary, and had this massive like plan, and they were able to compromise most a large portion of Hezbollah's electronics equipment. They were able to assassinate, to figure out where Nasrallah was. They were able to what else is there? They were able to assassinate the head of the Palestinians, the head of Hamas while he was in Iran. All this stuff. So the Mossad was able to do all this, but they had no idea this massive attack was coming. None. It's just I get that this is old news and stuff like that, but I sometimes I just kind of withhold judgment until I find fairly definitive evidence. And I think the circumstantial evidence, particularly post Pager attack, overwhelmingly suggests that I think it is impossible that Israel wouldn't have known about the Hamas attack. Like, I think you can see just how widespread Israel's network of informers is, or their whatever, just because they seem to be able to kill leaders really easily. Like, they seem to always know where they are and stuff like that. So I think there's a 0% chance they didn't know it was happening. Whether it was triggered by Israel, whether they knew about it. I mean, if you look at how they tend to do things in the United States, maybe they sent in some infiltrators. Maybe they got some FBI infiltrators, some Mossad infiltrators to go in and stir the pot, and to do that. But I don't like sounding like a conspiracy, like Protocols of the Elders of Zion, but where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. Once again, maybe I sound extremely naive. I just don't like to buy into narratives sometimes until I see more exact stuff. So I think what they're trying to do is build up atrocities to trigger a regional war, maybe destabilize the region further by leading to some sort of regime change in Egypt or Jordan, or something like that. Go off Argent. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Um, but something I find interesting is, hasn't Saudi Arabia been very quiet during this whole process? Like, haven't they largely been just continuing to support Israel and just not really saying or doing much? It is kind of interesting, but so what, okay, so here's what I think they're doing is they're trying to stir the pot as much as possible to cause a regional war. And then once the regional war happens, they have everything in place to just completely ethnically cleanse the Palestinians. So they have them in a state of near starvation. Like, this is the Gaza Strip famine. So something like 97.6% of the people are facing potential starvation. What's the population of Gaza? Is it 2 million? So a quarter of Gaza's population is facing famine. So I think they're going to start the regional war, and then in the confusion of that, they're going to cut off the remainder of whatever little food aid they allow in. They're going to let the, I don't know, the settlers or the Jewish Power Party or the ultra Orthodox or whatever go in with death squads and just start killing people en masse. Because they've killed a lot of people so far, but between the total destruction of all infrastructure, the prevention of aid, the constantly moving people around, um, I really have to want. I feel like that is what they're doing. I think Netanyahu has also declared that the West Bank is now a front in the war. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the West Bank was like, there was some protests in it, but I didn't think it was that bad. I feel like there was, they just decided to unilaterally attack it. I mean, they're also trying to pull Syria into the war because something people forget is whenever Israel launches one of these big airstrikes, they just fire a bunch of missiles at Syria, even though Syria is not really in this conflict. So they are currently invading southern Lebanon. Now, it is very hard to get any kind of information out of what's going on. My understanding, though, is that it's not going very well, that the IDF is taking heavy casualties because they're going up against Hezbollah. Hezbollah is not Hamas. Hezbollah has tens of thousands of decently trained, of well trained, well equipped, motivated soldiers. They've been preparing for this for the better part of 2 decades. They have trenches, they have tunnels, they have bunkers, they have all kinds of stuff like that. Um, and like I think the first day, like 8 IDF soldiers died. Like how many? Let me see how many even like has Israel lost during the whole. Okay, I guess they've lost maybe 1,000 security forces, but I don't know. I don't think the invasion of Lebanon is going very well. They've done a like once again. I think they're trying to provoke a regional war. So I don't think destroying Hamas is possible. I don't think destroying Hezbollah is possible either. I don't know if anyone's seen like these G slur statements that Netanyahu keeps putting out where he is like, "Oh, people of Iran, rise up and overthrow your leaders," and he's saying that to the people of Lebanon, like, "Rise up and overthrow your leaders." I don't know what the Maronites are doing at the moment. From my understanding, is I think they're kind of divided as to who they're supporting at the moment. I think Hezbollah has made some efforts to reach out to them over time, and the situation's got better. But it's still kind of a very much a mixed bag. Let me see here. Third. Oh, they crowned the fake Shah in Washington. Yeah. Um, I think it's way higher than this. The number of people who died in on that. Now, once again, I'm sorry I don't have all the news articles together, but I don't know if anyone's seen that Netanyahu has, and some members of the Israeli government have said they want to ethnically cleanse southern Lebanon to create a buffer state, buffer area, and maybe start to bring in settlers in there. So I'm not convinced. I think it's quite possible that they're going to seize significant amount of territory in southern Lebanon and occupy it and maybe ethnically cleanse the population there and try to start settling it. I'm trying to remember, what's the river that Hezbollah is supposed to retreat behind? The Litani River. Let me see. Where is the Litani River exactly? Yeah, that they might try to annex or occupy everything south of the Litani River. Because I think they've talked about just kicking basically everybody out, putting it under that. Uh, Israel Kabbalist nationalists. So that is going on, and then obviously they're trying to trigger the war with Iran. Um, Maybe part of the plan of invading Lebanon is doing a ground invasion is to try to get a bunch of IDF soldiers killed to get the Israeli people to scream out for more blood. But that's what I think. I think that the idea is it's the chaos strategy. It's like Littlefinger said, chaos is a ladder. They're trying to get the regional war going. They're trying to get like just get to a total war economy. Sorry, total war standing, and then they will just carry out all of their plans. Like they'll ethnically cleanse the West Bank, they'll ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip. I don't know if there's any Arabs left in the Golan Heights, but they're fucked, and then they're just going to kick out anybody from Southern Lebanon, and this is their chance for Greater Israel, because I don't know when they're going to get another opportunity like this again. With the change in the global power, America's in decline. America's enemies are in ascendance. I understand that the BRICS is hardly like as tight an alliance as NATO, but Iran is part of the BRICS now. Iran has friends. They're not completely diplomatically isolated anymore. They're doing business with Russia. They're doing business with China. It's interesting because Putin tried really hard to cultivate. He's kind of he at least was fairly Semiphilic, and he tried really hard to cultivate good relations with Israel, but that's kind of just been over. Let me see here. Population of uh yeah, the Christian population has been pretty consistently leaving. I think it used to be majority Christian, but it's they don't see there as being any future there. I'm just trying to see where's the religion. Yeah, it's been becoming more and more of a Muslim ascendancy. Are there any Kino War songs coming from the war? I'm not sure. Let's see here. But yeah, if you look at it, yeah, Shias are expanding. I guess there's been some population growth. Where a lot of Lebanese Protestants, that's like the most cursed thing I've ever heard. Um, but a lot of them are just going to Latin America where they can kind of blend in. Oh, Israel threatened the Irish peacekeepers? Yeah. But I just don't know what other plan. It's either they want to start a regional war, chaos is a ladder, they can achieve all their dreams of greater Israel, and this is maybe their last chance to do it because Biden is an extremely weak man who will just let them do whatever the fuck they want. He's a lame duck. And I think the big wild card in this, and maybe you can call me extremely naive, is Trump. Now, Trump, as we all know, is a golem. He is probably, prior to Biden, the most pro Jewish man to ever be president of the United States. Trump is not a weak man, though. So I kind of feel like this whole thing wouldn't have gone on this long if Trump had been in power. Uh, as much as he is kind of crazy on the matter, as much as he's like, yeah, go bomb the nuclear plants and stuff like that. The thing with Trump, and this is an argument I get into with a lot of people on Twitter, is you have to watch what he does versus what he says. And Trump talks a lot of shit. He talks a lot of shit. He says a lot of stuff. I feel he is somebody who does tend to say whatever he thinks the person he's talking to wants to hear. But does that translate? But would that actually translate him into letting what happened, what wound up happening? I kind of feel it wouldn't. Maybe that's naive of me. I feel like this crisis wouldn't have gone on this long. It would have been resolved one way or another. He would have tried to come to some sort of agreement with Netanyahu. It would have been very pro-Israel. Israel would have gotten a bunch of money. But I just don't think the complete impotence of America would have proceeded. Um, and once again, we have all the policy as articulated by Theodore Roosevelt is to walk softly and carry a big stick. It's to talk a big game. It's to think have people think that you're a little bit crazy, that you're willing to do just about anything, but then offer your opponent a way out to save face. So once again, is this naive of me? Probably. But what is Trump going to do that like Biden hasn't done? I mean, he would at least have some sort of working relationship with Netanyahu. I don't know. I I think it's a open question. I don't could Trump be as bad as Biden is on Israel? Like is that physically possible? I guess it might be, but I just don't know. Like when Trump was president, like this didn't happen when he was president. I get that we had him assassinating Soleimani. I get that a whole bunch of other shit happened, but we didn't have the Russo-Ukraine war. We didn't have whatever the fuck this is when he was in power. So once again, you can say that that's naive, but it's once again, and this is sorry if we're getting off topic and I'm getting on my soapbox. I get really tired of this on Twitter. Trump talks a lot of really dumb shit about abortion. Like he will say, "Oh, I'm going to veto the national abortion ban." Oh, I'm actually pro. Like he'll go back and forth, but at the end of the day, something that is undeniable is after decades of Bush and Reagan and all these other people who just talked a big game, he was the one who got it done. Roe v. Wade got overturned, and a lot of red states were able to pass restrictions. So it's the attitude I've seen, and this is coming out of a lot of the pro life movement, is either if we don't have 100% bans, we'd rather have no restrictions. And maybe that is unfair of me. Maybe that is me doing it. But my point is, like, with regards to that, Trump talks about immigration. Legal immigration went way down when he was in power. Um, Stuff like that. I think if you look at a lot of what his record actually was as president and you compare that to kind of the rhetoric he does, I don't think it's going to be as bad as people say. But I could be wrong. Leaders want Israel to tame militias and bring order, and then a middle class explosion. It's world markets. Islamic weirdos get owned. Yeah. So that is what I think they're doing. I think a lot of it though is just motivated by spite. By they're exceedingly spiteful, vengeful people who never forget the um, slightest slight against them. And I mean, you had all the stuff happen during the thing that was probably their fault because they probably allowed it to happen. But I don't know. So maybe people in the chat, what do you guys think? Am I being completely naive about Trump? Is he just 100%? Will he just authorize Israel to start a regional war? Will he pull in Netanyahu? What is it? And what is with that Muslim mayor endorsing Trump? That's also really weird. I don't really get it, considering that he's like in some ways more pro-Israel than he is. Uh, here, like, let's see here. Let's see, immigration to the United States. Just trying to find it, 'cause it did go down. I think by like 50% when Trump was president. Also, Trump has talked about what else it is. It's gone down quite a bit. I'm just trying to find it because I'm pretty sure it did go down quite a bit under Trump. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it did go down. Oh no, that's illegal immigration. It's not legal immigration. I'm trying to find where legal immigration is. Um, by the way, I think the U.S. has to pass a law where they can kick out people who say they're going to move to Canada and then don't move to Canada. As I've said, I've already got my Canadian citizenship. I'm ready to move to Canada as soon as I can. Um if Trump wins the election, I will move to Canada. I've said this many times. Stuff like that. But no, it like immigration did go down during Trump's term, and then it went way up during Biden's term. Okay, I'm just going to read this comment from Cogito. Derailing the subject a bit, but I wanted to comment a bit on your content. I've discovered the channel recently. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Is a Canadian baby very disappointed in your country, but at least we can agree that Canada still maintains a modicum of the old British culture seriousness in politics, contrary to the full circus American politics has become. Um, I think there's a point. As I've always said with Canada, um, I hate because I love. Um, if I didn't care about Canada, I wouldn't get upset about it. If it wasn't my home, if I wasn't born here, if my ancestors hadn't lived here, um, then I just wouldn't care. I would be indifferent to it. I would just want to move somewhere else, and I don't. I mean, Canada's my home. It's where I came from. It's where my ancestors are. I mean, as Kamala says, you didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. You exist in the context of everything that came before, and that is the context. So it's it's just depressing. Like when I was coming back from Europe, I realized that in some parts of Canada, particularly in Toronto, but also where I live, it's easier in like Prague or Budapest to get service in English than it is in a lot of places I've been in Canada. So, okay, let me see here. Far right, stop supporting Muslims. You weirdly thinking Israel is some sadist state. You're weird. Jews are problematic, sure, but it's working in our interest. I don't know where you get this idea that I was. I don't think I've ever really even said I support Muslims. But I'm just saying, like, what Israel's doing is wrong, and they're dragging all of us into it, and we have to deal with it. And even in Canada, we have to deal with it because Polyev is saying we need Israel needs to attack Iran's nuclear program and stuff like that. So also don't use the weird term. It's really G slur. It's a forced meme. Like just don't. The weird thing is just it's like people say vibe now. Like I'm not gonna lie, the term vibe actually kind of triggers me. Because it's just everybody just started saying it. It was like in the latest firmware update. So yeah. Well, here's the other thing about Israel. What's going to happen is the Palestinians and Lebanese and stuff who don't get killed are going to get. Israel's going to ask America and ask Canada and ask Europe to take them all in, and they will. So this is going to cause a refugee crisis. So if you want to look at this, if we want to look at this from that perspective, then yes. Now, just on the topic of being triggered, something that unironically does trigger me, like that actually makes me cringe, that actually like physically harms me, is the term fact check. Fact, like even saying it bothers me because it's so antithetical to what it should be. If someone is fact checking, it just means they're being a cunt, basically. Um, yeah. Let's see here. Totally not cool. I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, so let's see here. Someone said Canada nationalism comes mainly from the left and not the right. Do you agree? Uh, yeah, I think so. Um, I talked a bit about that in the video I put out yesterday on is it fascist for the Canadian Conservative Party. I do find it funny, like how often people, it will be our fault for taking the subversives, not Israel. That's true. Yeah, Kagito, I do agree with you. Will the ultra orthodox lad succeed in dodging the surface? Yeah. One way I could see this crisis ending, and it's a long shot, is I would. It's not impossible to me that the IDF does a coup. Um, that the IDF does some mutinies or refuses to do what Netanyahu tells him, or forces him to resign. I think there is a non-0% chance of that happening. Um, let's see here. Yeah, Brat was cringe. Okay. Brat was really cringe. Fact check is the worst. Fact check is the I don't know. It's just because like reality and truth and honesty matter a lot to me, and it's just such a perversion of the concept. The whole fact checking thing. Because if you're saying fact check, that means that you're about to lie, but you're about to lie under the cloak of the truth. Which is I don't know. It's a very satanic thing. It's the wolf in sheep's clothing. It just irritates me. Has Fuentes given up on that yet? No, he's shilling for Kamala. No, he's not shilling for Kamala. He's trying really hard to get people to not vote. But he's just kind of irrelevant at this point. He declared Groyper War 2. Nothing happened. It's just I just have to like try not to think about him because it's just the whole Fuentes story is just really depressing. I don't know what it is. Um like I don't know if he's with Nick. I go through phases. I initially, as I've said, I was very pro Nick for a long time. Really up to and after Jan 6th, I was very like supportive of Nick. You know what? Let's take a field trip. Let's go look at Nick's Twitter because it is fucking cringe. You know what else is cringe? Using the word cringe in 2024. Okay, let's see what uh Nick Futanari has to say. Okay. Trump is the Iran war candidate. The GOP has abandoned the pro-life issue and dropped all marriage supporting traditional marriage. They take her support for granted. I mean, that's somewhat true. Let's see here. By the Make Israel Great Again 2024 campaign. Let's see here. Live on Rumble talking about why you shouldn't vote for Trump in the war with Iran. the whole Trump movement is a big Israel scam. But isn't his entire movement based on it? Like, here's the thing I don't get. Isn't like America First literally like a Trump quote? Wasn't the first 4 years of his movement, like 4+ years of his movement supporting Trump, it didn't he do stop the steal? Um and stuff like that. And it's are we just pretending that like none of that happened and he's always been against him? I'm gonna veto an abortion ban because it's unpopular and you guys are gonna suck it up. So I mean, the unfortunate reality is that abortion is popular in America. At least it's popular in it not being banned. As I've said numerous times, it's sad. I think one of the let me see if I can find that black pill because someone posted like one of the best black pills I've ever seen. Let's see here. By the way, here's just sorry we're getting completely off topic, but just a fuck you to Justo. There's now a suicide crisis helpline in Canada. You're free to call it any time from anywhere. 988. Dude, you brought in a policy where you want to gas disabled people. Like this is proven, okay? Uh Medically assisted dying autism. Okay, so they're trying to expand this to okay. Yeah, there's a legal precedent. This is from far right pro Russia source CBC. Calgary judge rules 27-year-old can go ahead with medically assisted. Well, I just call it getting gassed. I mean that's what it is. Um, I mean I know we're not supposed to compare things to the Nazis, but isn't like allowing disabled people to gas themselves like I don't get all of this like this we still do this. I see this at work like this anti-suicide stuff and I'm like, but I thought suicide was based now. I thought we were supposed to support it um I don't know. Incurable but not terminal. I'm pretty sure it's being expanded to people with mental illness. Um, okay, to I don't know. It's just it's as I've said. Um, uh, what is this for mental illness? Dying with Dignity Canada. What a bunch of fucking Satanists. Medical assisted dying. Let's see here. For mental illness, the sole underlying condition known as MAID is not currently available under the law in Canada. The bill received royal assent and it will become legal in 2027. So we're just gonna gas. Mm-hmm. We're just going to gas them. So that's cool. I don't know. As I've said many times, it's just a. Well, I don't know. I I've seen our stuff on that. I don't think that the black birth rate has actually increased substantially in states where abortion's been restricted. It's not as if like there are no other forms of contraception available. or people won't change their behaviors in response to external stuff. So I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that the demographics would be that different in America. There would be a lot of white people who didn't kill their children. I mean, that is part of it. But I don't know. As I've said, yeah, here we go. Uh okay, so 80% of people across Canada, it's just it's a road that I don't think a healthy society should go down. Um, it is like the biggest slippery slope that I think I've ever seen. Like, remember when it was just, oh, it's just people who are terminally ill with cancer who are gonna die in like the next week, and we just want to ease their passing, and now it's people who have mental health issues, and we're gonna fucking gas them too. Um, so like it's just I don't know. And if you look at this, some of these people are calling them like I think some people are calling the people who were against it fascists. Uh some people there. Watch conservatives try to find something bad about this. I mean, also we've had a suicide crisis hotlines from like for decades now. Let's see here. Just trying to find this. This was some groypers who were voting for Kamala. Let's see here. I'm trying to find it. Uh, so I'm trying to find there because there is this really black built thing about female suffrage. How do I? I'm trying to remember how to search. Sorry, I'm a boomer when it comes to Twitter. I just find a lot of the stuff is just not very easy to navigate. Okay. Um, no, I don't know. Well, I mean, let's look at Canada. You know what? I don't want to look at Canada's immigration rate. It's just it's so depressing. People are always like, Argent, why don't you cover Canadian politics more? Because it's too depressing. Like it's the most depressing shit that I've ever like. You don't know. You can't even say that. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, I thought this meme was really good. The average height of a woman is 5'4", but I'm 5'6". Drinks coffee. It's very true. That's what talking to an NPC is like. To be honest. Oh yeah, that was a good meal. That was some Czech goulash. That was very tasty. It was a little too salty for me, but that was fucking great. Oh, I'm just trying to find this. This is one of my new favorite memes. Are you trying to tell me that I can check the early life section on their Wikipedia page? No, Neo, I'm telling you that when you're ready, you won't have to. Let's see. Uh, Yeah, I can't find it. Oh yeah, this is like this is one of the ultimate. Actually, I think that this is a. Oh no, I think pretty sure it's a parody account, but I'm having trouble finding it. Why did I choose Arjun as my name? Because there's a period I was collecting silver coins, and I'm Canadian, so it says Arjun on them. Because Arjun is for silver, and I just thought it was a cool name. Uh, I liked it. I thought it was something that I could use as a handle that I hadn't really seen too many other people using it as. Um, using and I thought it was like a username that I could keep for a long period of time. And it wouldn't I dropped the Templar because that was really cringe. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is like the most black pilled thing I've ever seen. Okay, we tried women's suffrage and discovered their primary political concern is killing their own babies. Can we finally call this experiment failed and move on? So no, that's just I just thought it was I liked the way that the name sounded. Um I thought it was something that I could keep as my username for a long time. That wasn't like particularly based on a meme for the moment. And that yeah, so that was why I decided on it. I don't know if that's a good explanation or not, but oh, has anyone seen sorry, we're getting a has anyone seen that? This is, I love this one. Demisexual, a person who doesn't experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. I like how being normal is a fetish. By the way, when I was in Budapest, they had this, which was based hardcore gamer burger, hobby gamer burger. Godzilla versus Jesus. Why can't we have a Godzilla versus Jesus movie? Or no, they would team up. What am I talking about? Why can't we have a buddy cop film with Godzilla and Jesus? I mean, it's like the other one that I love is the impregnation fetish. Like that impregnating a woman is a sexual fetish. It's like, oh, basic human reproduction is a sexual fetish. That's how it always is. But is Arini still active? No, I stopped A-logging him a while back. I might take down the channel. For those of you who aren't aware, I because Arini just posts the most insane shit. I ran a channel that was making fun of him for a long period of time called the Sigma Supreme. Because Irini's obsessed with Marvel movies. And uh take off a sorcerer supreme and he calls himself like a yeah, so Irini the Sigma Supreme was the parody channel I made, which was honestly it wasn't even like a logging, it was just him it was just me taking clips from his channels. You know what? Let's watch some Arini. Let's watch some Arini clips. Oh, okay, here we go.
Good Lord. The intermediary that we got. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that for now. Name's Ari. He works very, very closely with Hustler magazine. Makes a lot more money than I do. I helped edit a porn scene of his wife.
What?
Who the first thing Jordan said when he met the woman was, "I've masturbated to you so many times."
Okay. Let me see. Where are the best Ariti ones? Okay, let's see.
What happens if I hit this button? No, I don't want to mute microphone. I want to see the full chat. Are your glasses a something to Canadian? Testament to Canadian Corey Hart? No, just prescription. Three years ago, I bought some glasses online from Zenio, which supposedly they offered much better prices. They offered about a $50 discount on the frames. The lenses still cost just as much, and my lenses are about $300. And so what I wanted was about a 30% tint, but they only offered 90, 50, and 10. And 10 is like, don't even bother. So I got 50% based upon the images on the website. Then these showed up. But I've adapted to them. See, a 50% tint on your lens is only a 10% reduction in light levels, because light works logarithmically. So I've spent plenty of time driving on backcountry roads with these things, and I do not have good headlights. My car is 25 years old.
Let's try to find this. Trying to find, because there's like a lot of. I used to just repost all of his streams. Let's see here. Oh, where's the one where he claims to be the Punisher? One is the best. Okay, this is the greatest thing Ariti's ever seen.
De-escalate situations. Good Lord, I enjoy the blood rage of fighting. I really enjoy it. Man, like, you guys have seen the pictures when I broke my 2 fingers with the dog fight. Me in the hospital, no painkillers whatsoever. Blood loss, huge, freaking smacked my head off the pavement pretty hard. And I've just got the biggest grin on my face because I felt awesome, right? Like, I actively enjoy it. And yet, any time I'm in a situation, and I've been in more than a few situations, I actively work to de-escalate things. Because, like, when it's time to rock and roll, man, I like to rock and roll. But I'm fully aware of just how sideways everything can go. Somebody pulls a knife.
Is that literally like, that looks like the drapes from a hotel.
You smack your head off the cement a little bit too hard, or you smack their head off the cement, split their brain case, and boom, that's manslaughter, man.
Okay, let me find the Okay, this is the greatest Ariti clip of all time, I think.
About that, because I don't know any of that topic.
So what I'm getting at is that if a woman is shouting insults to men in public for no reason, she is completely violating the social contract.
She's low class.
Well, and what do you do with low class people at your bar? No, you eject them from your bar because you want to have a nice bar.
Sure, I'm sorry. Like, so it's, yeah. But that's not your responsibility.
It is. It's my bar.
your bar. Yeah, if you own
This
the
is
bar,
my bar.
that's
This is
different.
my
That's-
country. This is my city.
Yeah, but this.
If you go around Calgary acting like a dirtbag and I see it, I'm going to put a stop to that. So, hey, buddy, you're not being a dirtbag, are you? Because I'm going to stop it if you are.
Okay, I mean.
I'm not calling the cops about this. I'm going to deal with it, then hand you over to them, Spider-Man style. You get a lot less people causing trouble when you got guys like me wandering around.
But is that even legal?
Yes, I know. I know where the line of legal is.
Okay, well, most people don't, so like, it's not encouraging.
I've done nothing but military and security for most of my
Yeah,
life.
but most people haven't, so like, you know, is that clear to your audience? That's what your background.
Well,
is?
and guys, you should know these. My audience knows they need to know this stuff.
Okay,
You
well,
need to
don't
study how to
understand
use
it.
weapons. You should have no favorite weapons. Study all weapons. You should study the laws. You should know the limits. Do not try and rescue people from themselves. If you got Buddy and his girlfriend that are always beating the crap out of each other, get them out of your neighborhood. Don't fix them. It's not your. Don't fix them.
Okay, let me see here. Swatch.
Smell the coffee and realize that he's a failed real estate developer with an Apollo complex that is owned by a particular tribe of moneyed interests who bailed out all of his failures.
Okay, that was not one of the funnier ones. Okay, here we go.
One other thing, interestingly enough, I was having this conversation with friends last night, and I actually started off like, why do people keep drawing pictures of Sonic being pregnant by Shrek? That's where the conversation started, because it's a question that demands answering, isn't it? People weren't doing this 50 years ago. There's something seriously wrong. Male pregnancy pictures, like what's going on? And it led to Baudrillard. And it turns out I was listening. I confess something, guys. I haven't read Baudrillard. What I do is I kind of walk by the library and I sniff the air a little bit, and usually that's enough, and I can figure out what these guys are on about.
Just sniff books. Okay, let me see here.
What is a NEET? Not an employment, education, or training. Well, and that is, that's the other side of the coin, right? Like, do you blame the kids for this? Do you blame the girls for staring at the cell phone all day when the thing has been designed to be absolute crack? It's constantly being updated to be as addictive as possible, right? They study all of this stuff in depth.
Let me see, because let me see here. Because I did a one or two like edited like poorly edited videos. Okay, so let me see here. Where is best of? Okay, we'll watch This is something I made. This is the best of Davis Aridi.
I mean, I've got better things to do than hate watch. Buddy, there's guys out there right now with fake Twitter accounts of me and fake YouTube accounts that are just trying to drag my name through the mud. These are right-wingers, by the way, not left-wingers. And they think they're the underdog. And they're acting like the alpha bully. They've got the YouTube. I'm not on there anymore.
Argon. It used to be a guy I was nice to, promoted his channel and all that. Well, he doesn't like me anymore. So he started a channel on YouTube to try and make fun of me. and he's been taking clips from the live stream and putting them up on there, and couldn't be a bully in high school, can't be a bully as an adult, man. Imagine failing at doing something so pathetic.
Yeah, ultimately, I should probably be in charge. That's my opinion, generally speaking.
But you know what? You know who needs to be in charge? People that aren't afraid to pull the trigger. You know who that is? Raiders. Raiders are the new aristocracy. Yeah. So I happily became king of the Raiders.
On the one hand, I'm so fucking lucky that I'm smart, because I can do whatever the hell I want. I can do any job that I want to do and pull it off. On the other hand, I am bored out of my skull, and nothing provides me a worthwhile challenge. This is important, guys. There is not going to be any more any revolution. So, sitting around in the dark, polishing your guns, thinking about the revolution, imagining there's going to be some revolution, it's never going to happen. You're going to be waiting till the cows come home and accomplishing about as much as any of these other castle in the sky people talking about building the perfect society. My goal this year is to make $500,000. Worst case, it might be more like 80K, but even that's not so bad.
What is a NEET? Not an employment, education, or training. You know, that's the other side of the coin, right? Like, do you blame the kids for this? You know, we drove past the Mormon church, and my buddy and I were talking about them. And, I mean, we're the highest IQ and the biggest dick. Of course, the rest of Europe is jealous of us. Listen, here's how you make pesto. You need a blender. You just blend all that together. You boil some shell pasta, because that's the best pasta. It's the classiest. Makes you think of Ninja Turtles, right? And you put that on it. Maybe fry some chicken with it. And you're going to feel like you have an orgasm in your mouth, man. Oh, absolutely not, man. I know it as a matter of objective fact that about 99, like bare minimum 99.5% of people are not as smart as me. That's objective fact, okay? That's not bragging. Americans have such a myopic view where they're the center of the universe.
Yeah, they're not.
No, the only reason they won the Revolutionary War is because Napoleon was like kicking up shit over in Europe constantly.
Yeah.
In 6 months, it's because
What's the reason for the Davis Arini couple? Because it's Kino. That's really the only reason. I don't know. I just wanted to. Someone brought up Arini. I like how Napoleon won the American Revolution.
because I'm very, very good at what I do, and I'm very fast at editing. Davis is as fast at editing as anybody I know in Hollywood. I know all the keyboard shortcuts. I am very, very quick with editing.
5 years ago, when I was solving all of the philosophical problems that existed,
There's kind of this underlying message that this is anybody who is not humble. He didn't start off this evil, but he became that evil, and you could as well, if you're not humble. Oh, dude, I look like a Matrix caricature no matter how I dress. That's the thing. It's like when you're this badass, you look like a movie character. What can I say? Because I really didn't want to deal with Three Dog, and then I accidentally bypassed him. So I never had to meet that soul patch, smarmy, indoor sunglass wearing piece of shit. I didn't have to deal with that piece of garbage. And the game was far more tolerable.
Plenty of photos.
and I'll tell you what, guys, it actually is pretty dark in here right now. Right? Like, it's a little bit too dark to read by. I mean, hey, look at this. You can even see the light reflecting off of me from this thing. But look at the video quality. Isn't this fantastic? It looks like daylight. It's not. Smoke, it's good for you. It's certainly not bad for you. And smoking, it boosts your IQ, raises your testosterone levels, reduces your appetite, It protects against COVID-19, and just as a complete side benefit, you look really cool and sexy when you smoke.
Picking up the habit. But we all know the real reason behind this, don't we? I can already hear the laughter coming from down off the mountain as you breeders think about the poor working class stiff that likes his wine tips.
Yeah, he said breeders.
Cigars, or the beatnik smoking his clove cigarettes. Now they're sitting home and lonely, and you guys can't get enough of it. You're just loving the fact that the world is one step closer to your suburbanite, homogenized, obsequious nightmare utopia, and the CEOs are nothing but a bunch of pompous jerks that think you are swine. They want to walk all over you, and you breeders are helping them pave the way over the backs of your fellow citizens.
Right? You're making a commercial to get more money. That's fine. But these people, man, they're just walking around being a commercial all the time. They're acting like they're in a movie set constantly. It's like, why are you doing this? It's ridiculous. But what I'm getting at is that if a woman is shouting insults to men in public...
Okay, I'm sorry. Some of these were just really funny. What's the other one? Where's the one where he said he could take power in a military coup? I don't want. I'm not going to do another Endure the Sarkeesian effect. I've done that before. It's too bad. Okay, here we go.
You try, like, let's forget that for a moment. Let's just say you tried to start Fight Club, right? Give me 5 of the guys from that movie. Give me 5 of the guys from Fight Club, and I'd be the king of Canada within 5 years at the outset.
I kind of miss Arini. So this was the channel I made that was theoretically A-logging him. I don't this wasn't even initially like intended to be an A-log. It's just that he said so many crazy stuff. So it was just amazing. It was just like the most Kino which one was this?
Seeing a lot of people not arrested. Trump's doing some stuff. Listen, this is a war between the Luciferians and the Satanists, okay? And I really, really hate the Satanists, and I'm glad that Trump is fighting the Satanists. But he works for the Luciferians, and I don't like them either. You were asking me about these groups earlier.
Which ones?
The Satanists and the Luciferians.
Yeah, the difference. I don't think I know the difference.
So, the Satanists are, at the core of it, I reject your reality and substitute my own. So the Satanists are the ones that are big into transgenderism, big in like the Hillary Clinton, reality is going to be whatever we declare reality to be. Luciferians are, I'm going to learn the hidden secret keys to the universe. So the Freemasons, the capitalists, that side of the manipulators. And that is the side that Trump is working for.
Okay. And you know that because?
Oh, just look at who he hangs out with, look at what he promotes. He has promoted precisely one Catholic in all his time. He retweeted the guy recently. Forget his name, and I don't care. But the guy, if you look into his history, it is nothing but spreading scandal, right? He's constantly trying to scandalize people, get Catholics to argue with one another. You know, is this technically correct, or is it a secret plot? Never anything positive, never anything community building, never, again, so that dialectic constantly. So that's the only Catholic that Trump promotes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so he's not our guy.
Let's see here.
Point of where you get a narcissist is where the internal and external are different. And the external is being artificially maintained to try and create identity so that nobody sees how terrible they actually are.
Here. Where we go?
Children imitate Marvel movies. When they grow up, they become narcissistic. Nobody has powers. You're not a special snowflake like Peter Parker or Harry Potter. Yeah, that's the thing. There have been some spin-offs of the superhero genre that are kind of interesting, where they actually, like, what would somebody do with these superhuman powers? And it usually becomes a tragedy. Whereas Marvel movies just goes on and on and on, and it's just too, I can't deal with it.
Do prime numbers have a Buddha nature? Let's see here. Let's see here. The Sword Review, Men of the West speech.
Tell you what they're doing in clothing stores right now in Alberta. They're putting in the mall. You have that big entrance to the clothing store, 3 or 4 meters across. They're putting a little table in the middle, and you have to go in this way and then leave out this way. So you go in this way with everybody, and you touch everything in the store, and you coof on everybody. But then you come out this way, and somehow that table with the hand sanitizer on it at the front of the store magically stops the virus from spreading inside the store, where everybody's touching everybody and licking one another and booty bouncing off one another. Yes, so that's your choice. Either...
No, I don't think I deleted it. I think the Argent Guard comedy stream is still around. I think this was it. Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my stream. I just... What is that, Cosmic Cat? You want to go outside? You're an indoor cat, though. I can't let you out on the balcony. You'll drop off. Oh, she wants to go out really, really bad. Just as soon as I started streaming. You're a good cosmic cat, aren't you, Rain? Aren't you? You're low quality. You're a low quality kitty, aren't you? It's I'm not gonna let you go outside. Even if you're biting me, you're not gonna get to go outside. So, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Today's stream is about how I'm here to look good and review Marvel movies. And I'm all out of Marvel movies. So I'm going to review DC movies instead. So let's just let everybody come in here before we start. Just going to share this. We have 6 viewers. That's doing good. It's more than I used to have at my my old YouTube channel back when it was still up. Let's see. I'm just sharing this. Just sharing this. Cosmic Cat is currently staring at her bowl of food. Very low quality, very big. Just gonna, let's see here. Where'd I put my cigarette? Here. We have 14 viewers. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's about twice what I normally get. I don't see anyone talking in the chat though. Okay, let's see here. Let me just what's the chat? We'll get to the video games. We'll get to the Nintendo Switch and all that kind of stuff. The first thing though we have to talk about is the topic of the stream. So, as you guys know, I tend to believe that I should be the person running society. You see, as we've talked about in the past, there's this thing called learning styles, and you have the visual learner, the audio learner, and the kinesthetic learner. And the visual learner is not a morally serious person because all their lying because of them lying eyes, and all they believe in is their lying eyes. And then the kinesthetic learner is very sensual, and they tend to have an inability to think in that
No,
sort
we're
of
not. I just
fashion.
wanted to look at a couple highlights.
So there are these movies, and they're called the DC movies. And the DC movies are a series of films that were created based on DC comic book characters. And I really I don't like them. I mean, I haven't seen come out with these movies all the time, and no one ever watches them. Instead, people are watching the DC movies. So you had the drug-addled masses who were high off of vaccines and Burger King and weed, and they were getting the N64 and the PlayStation. But I stuck with my 32X. I was the only person who did. I remember one time I went into the game store. I went into the game store with my 32X, and the guy behind the counter was like, "You're the only person who ever bought one from here." And I'm just like, he's like, "You are a man of wealth and taste. You should be the person who runs society because you're the only person who liked the 32X." And later on, I would be contacted by the creator of the 32X, who said, "You saw through the test when no one else did, Arjun. You are the master of the 32X. And it was a test. Only someone with a true aristocratic soul who had served in the Canadian Special Forces and is destined to run society would be able to know about the genius of the 32X." And that was when I decided I should be the one who runs society. I didn't want to be the one who ran society.
Okay, I'm sorry. Someone was asking about the Argent Guard stream. That's still up. I think I did multiples of these. What's this? We'll watch one or two.
Still finds fault with it. You know what? Here's the thing: is if I had ever watched any of her fucking videos, I could have come up with a far tighter argument. But I have watched. She is so fucking toxic and pedantic, and I just don't care. Like, she's lying about video games. Okay, you watch 3 minutes of one of her videos, and you know she's lying. So that segment should have been. It could have been tightened up. It could have been a lot better. But that alone would have taken at least another week, if not 3. So you know what? I said fuck it and left him, because ultimately, you know what? Either you know who Anita Sarkeesian is and you know she's full of shit,
or you don't, and this is good enough to convince you that her arguments are really bad.
Anyways, sorry for derailing. I might cut this part off or just make it its own video, because it really doesn't have anything to do with the Israel thing. But I don't know why I just got completely sidetracked. It's just the fascinating world of Arini. June the King needs to do a documentary on Arini. But yeah, I'll probably edit this part out or just spin it off into its own video. It just takes a little while for it to process. But yeah, sorry for the massive digression. But yeah. So anyways, I'll talk